Hey, what's up YouTube? This video is going to be a little bit longer than most of my videos. We're going to be covering the Honda 2021 Lishi. And this is for the Hondas that take the new style smart key. And the actual OEM emergency keys are actually made out of steel, and they're actually magnetic, which is pretty wild if you think about it. The aftermarket keys are brass, though, so they're a little easier on your key machine. And these keys do have an A and a B side. I'm just going to show you here. We're looking at the A side here, and you see a little slope of the key, and then flip it around, we've got the B side. Now the A side's got 5 spaces, the B side's got 3, and these will only go in the lock one way. And then the car would actually unlock going clockwise, so that would be how you would unlock it. Now, a couple of things about this. Since the key only goes in one way, the Lishi also only goes in one way. Now, the way that this lock is oriented now, this actually is how it would be on a car. And what I see as a kind of a big issue with this is when the Lishi goes in the lock, it can only go in this way. And we can very obviously see the problem with this. When the car is locked and you put the tool in, it's actually facing the ground. So I think that would make it actually very hard to pick this way, but that's how it is for right now. So to actually make the video though, I'm going to go ahead and flip the lock, which would be upside down as if we flipped the car over, just to film the video. So let me go ahead and move the camera and we'll get to picking. Alright, I've got the lock flipped over, so this would be as if the car was upside down, sitting on its roof, I guess. And I'm going to go ahead and put the Lishi in. Like normal here. Make sure it's all the way in. And let me zoom in here so hopefully we can all see. And I got the camera actually in a little different spot than I normally do, so just bear with me. Alright, we're going to go ahead and pick it here. Now, we're going to pick it clockwise as if we were going to unlock the car. And like Han 66, this has to be picked 2 times to be able to take a reading and then picked back to home. A couple of quick tips here. When you're picking it, there is going to be some counter rotation required. And sometimes when you're doing that, the lifters try to actually kind of lift off the reading pane. So you can actually use a finger to hold it down. I'm pushing out with my finger, and I'm picking to actually keep the lifter from lifting off, and it makes the wafer move instead of the lifter move. And so you can actually set them. And I'm going to go ahead and just pick it the way you normally would to unlock the car, and we'll take a reading. And then I'm going to move the camera again and show you one other very interesting thing about this lock. So we'll go ahead and we'll get to picking here. And like with all Lishis, just going to look for something binding. And I'm just going to start on the A track, which has the 5 positions on it. And I'm just going to go through and look for binders. And I have number 3 binding. Click on 3, got a tiny bit of rotation. And just going to continue through here, look for some more binders. And so nothing on the A track's binding, so we'll go to the B track. And now I'm trying to pick one on the B track. The lifter is trying to lift off the lock, so I'm going to go ahead and just put my finger on it to keep the lifter from lifting up towards the sky. And this will actually let me set the wafer. And then we're going to keep on going through the lock here. So B track, got number 2 binding, got that set. And number 3. Okay, and 3 here. So the block rotated, but you'll notice on this that it's not springy, which means I just overset it. So I'm going to let the lock rotate back a little bit until that lifter springs back. Like so, and I was still able to rotate it all the way back. Now that wafer is actually set now, so I just recovered from the overset. And go look for something else binding here. So we got number 4 binding. I'm gonna go and use my finger to hold the lifter against the reading pane. And tiny bit of counter rotation. Got a little click on 4, and the lock rotated forward some more, and that wafer's set. And now number 5 on the A track is binding. Just do kind of the same process here, a little bit of counter rotation while holding the lifter on the reading pane. And now if you notice here that the lock actually turned, you heard a little click there. And now we are picked between lock and unlock. So now we need to pick it one more time here to pick it all the way over to where we can actually read it. So I'm just going to go through and look for binders. Okay, number 3 is binding on the A track. Okay, now number 1's binding. Click on 1, okay, 2, there we go. Now we've actually got the lock picked all the way where now we can actually take a reading on it. And so I'm going to go ahead and we'll do that here. Hopefully you guys can see. So I'm going to go ahead and read the A track first. And on the A track, we're going to have 3, 5, 1, 3, and 1. So that's 3, 5, 1, 3, 1. And on the B track, we're going to have 3, 5, and 4. So now we've got our reading. I'm going to just let it go. Now we're back to stuck between lock and unlock. And now we've got to pick it a third time back to the home position. So we're going to same process here. We're just going to go ahead and just tension it the opposite direction. Go through and look for binders. I've got a tiny click on 2. All right, now on the B track here, I have number 2 binding. But when I'm trying to push on it though, the lifter's trying to lift off the reading pane. So once again, put a finger on it. A little bit of counter rotation, and I got it set. Now 3 on the B track's binding. Same thing, a little counter rotation. And I don't know if you heard that or not. Hopefully you did. I actually dropped some wafers before that set. And you're just going to have to be patient here. When you're using counter rotation like this, you're going to end up dropping wafers. You're going to have to just pick a couple spots multiple times here. But just be patient. Just part of the process. So 2 dropped there. So we got 2 set again. So now 2 and 3 on the B track are set. Go back and check the A. So now 2 is binding again here. And a little bit of counter rotation again, holding the lifter, got a little click on 2. Okay, and well, see, it feels like 1's binding on the A track. A little counter rotation. So I'm trying to use as little counter rotation as possible so I don't drop anything, just enough to where it lets me actually set it. All right, and I just heard something drop, but I did just set number 1. So now I'm go check 2 here. So 2 is what must have dropped. I got that set again. And once again, guys, all part of the process here. Don't worry about, if you drop wafers with the counter rotation. Now, so it looks like 2 is what I dropped on the B track here. So counter rotation. Got that picked, got that set. And see, now 1 on the B track's binding again. A little bit of counter rotation. And I'm just trying to basically just use as little as possible to get it to set. And using my finger here to hold the lifter on the pane so it doesn't lift off. And I got that set. But now 2 is actually binding again on the B track, so I got set again. And 2 on the A track is now binding again, so that must have dropped. So now another click on that. Okay, 1 on the A track's binding again. All right, got that set. Something dropped again, so it looks like 2. Okay, now 3 is binding. And when we decoded this, remember 3 is a 1 cut, so it's got to move a long way. So it's going to take counter rotation. And I just heard something drop. But I now have that set. And I heard at least 2 drop here, so let's go back and look for what dropped. So number 2 and number 1 on the A track. And I heard 2 drop again. All right, so now we got 1, 2, 3 all set. 4 and 5 on the A track are not binding, so now we must have dropped something on the B track, so we'll go explore that some more here. Okay, number 2 is binding again. All right, and now that we've actually got it picked back to the home position, or now we'd be able to, put a key back in it here, because that's back to the home position. So now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to move the camera one more time here and show you one other thing on this lock. Okay, got the camera moved to the other side here, and now we just actually picked the lock going clockwise, which would be the direction to unlock it, and we had to pick the lock 2 times to read it, and then the 3rd time back to home. I'm going to actually go ahead and pick it this time, actually counterclockwise, and interesting thing about counterclockwise is you only have to pick it once to take a reading, and then let it go, and it goes back home. You don't have to pick it 3 times. So I'm going to just speed this up here because the video is already long enough. But let me go ahead and pick it, and we'll show you. All right, so now the lock's actually picked here, and only had to pick it once, and you actually would be able to read it. And then when you let it go, it goes all the way back to the home position. You don't have to actually pick it back to home. And so you'd be able to, put a key in and whatever you wanted to do. So it is, you do only have to pick it 1 time if you pick it towards the counterclockwise. If you pick it clockwise, which would be the direction to unlock the car, you got to pick it actually 3 times. So that's really all I got for this Lishi. If you guys have any questions or comments, I'll leave them in the comments, and I'll try to answer them if I can. And if you do want to see one of these keys being cut, check out the next video, via number 615, which I'll link up in the corner. And I guess that's all we got for this one. Until next time, we will talk to everybody later.